Good morning, sunshine. Welcome to the Cup of Curious podcast with Will, where we talk pop culture, music, movies, faith, and more. So grab your favorite overpriced caffeinated drink and join the conversation. This is the Cup of Curious podcast. You're on, Will.
Hey, God bless family. Welcome to the Cup of Curious podcast. It is the very first episode. I'm excited. I'm a little nervous. I announced this new show podcast at the beginning of this year, but a lot of things happened. For those of you who know me or follow me on social media, it's been a hectic last couple of months, starting from February. But outside of that, I'm doing pretty good. I'm a lot better than what I was, and I've been dying to do this. This is a project I had, for a long time. I've been wanting to do a podcast, even though everybody and their mom is doing a podcast. I'm just another, another ripple in the ocean. That makes no sense. I'm another speck of sand in the sea, beach. Anyway, let me stop because I can't do metaphors. I can't do metaphors right now. Anyway, basically what the show's about is me talking about like what's happening today, but also I'm also talking about, I told you I'm nervous. I'm going to be stuttering a few, so please forgive me. Another thing, some of the other things I'm going to be talking about is what's happening, musically in the world of music, what's happening in media, social media, and that kind of stuff, all through the lens of a believer, and that is me. I am a believer. I do my best to be a devout believer. I'm not perfect. No one is, but I try to, adhere to my beliefs as strongly as possible. And with every episode of the Cup of Curious podcast, I'm always going to be talking about a drink I have. Stay hydrated, stay thirsty. And today I'm drinking Essentia. I'm not sponsored. I'm not even sure if I should be doing this, but I guess you guys can picture me. I'm in front of my laptop, mic, drinking Essentia water because I need to stay hydrated. So yeah, one of the first things I want to talk about is actually, probably one of the more heartbreaking things that's been happening, and that's the increase of the recent mass shootings that's been happening in Ohio and El Paso, Texas. It's terrible what's happening. My thoughts and prayers do go out to those who lost loved ones, but then at the same time, there's got to be something done beyond thoughts and prayers. As a believer, I do believe there is power in prayer, absolutely, but I think if we have two working hands and we're able to do something for these people, then we should be able to do so. If you're obviously like me, I'm from Philadelphia. I can't, make my way to Texas or Ohio. There's plenty of fundraisers that are out there. So try to source out the good fundraisers because there's plenty of scammers out there, but look for the legitimate ones. And just donate something because it's ridiculous what's happening, and it just puts things in perspective, you can't go to a festival, you can't go to a concert, you can't go to the movie theater, you can't go to the mall, you can't go to a Walmart, you can't go anywhere without, your life being threatened, and it's sad. And it should be no surprise to a believer or to a Christian because the Bible does say that tomorrow's not promised to anybody. And I believe it was said earlier last week on a news report that, you never know when you're going to see your loved one leave that house, leave the door for the last time. So tell people you love them, just don't hold grudges. If you're angry at somebody, forgive them and just keep pushing forward because you never know. You don't want to end. God forbid something was to happen to you or your family member and the last thing you remember was an argument over something maybe stupid or something minor or something temporary. It's sad, but at the same time, it is a sign. It is a sign of the end times. As much as I hate to say it, and it aches my heart to say it, it's gonna get worse. It's gonna get worse. Our schools have been attacked. Our churches have been attacked. Public squares have been attacked. Stores have been attacked. It's just, we have to be vigilant. We have to be vigilant, keep our eyes open, our ears open. And I do believe, as a Christian, it is okay for you to carry a weapon. Legally, of course. And I'm not going to dive too much into the politics of, of who should have a gun, who shouldn't. I do believe people with mental issues should be tested prior to purchasing a gun. I don't think you should banish guns. I personally don't think video games are the problem. But again, I don't want to get too deep into that. I think what needs to be done is us to be more active with actions as opposed to just words. Like I said, thoughts and prayers are beautiful, but we need more than thoughts and prayers. So while my thoughts and prayers are sent to the people who lost their loved ones, I 100% believe that if you're able to help in any way, do so. And I include myself, if I can find there's any way for me to help, be it a fundraiser, then I'll do that. Because again, at the end of the day, we need some form of action, because prayers and thoughts are not cutting it. And yes, we do serve the God of justice, but God also gave us the ability to do something. So that's just my 2 cents on the matter. You don't have to agree with me, but that's how I feel, and you're more than welcome to let me know how you feel about it. But that's where I pretty much stand in that situation. Nobody deserves to have their life taken, while shopping, or again trying to look for entertainment. It's just it's disgusting, it's despicable. But that's my point of view. And once again, and finally, I'll say for the third and last time, my thoughts and prayers are with the family. But I will be seeking out a way to help you guys more than thoughts and prayers. On a lighter note, but at the same time, it's a weird situation. Now, in the world of music, let me talk about something before that, and that's actually 2 rappers. Now, Chance the Rapper and NF, both of these guys released their newest albums about a week ago, more than a week ago, and they both appeared on the charts. Now, everyone was expecting Chance the Rapper to be number 1 because, he has, such an incredible fan base. He's very popular and he's very well known. You've seen him in commercials. You've seen him in his performances on several different award shows. Chance the Rapper, he's known. He's established. His new album, The Big Day, came out and only bagged him the number 2 spot on Billboard, which, in all honesty, is not a bad spot at all. But he was trampled. Okay, let's not say trampled, because it wasn't by a large margin. But he was beat by NF, who was another rapper, by a few 10,000, like 10 or 20,000 more sales. And that shocked a lot of people. And it's strange because NF had a number 1 album last year with his last release called Perception. Now NF's new album is called The Search. Now I'm not that surprised because NF has a savage fan base. They defend this man to a T. Those are the kind of fans you don't want to mess with or trigger, because they will stay on top of you. I've seen it in the comment section of all kinds of social media. But I was just floored at because Chance says he's independent, but it's hard to believe that. Anyway, I'm trying to keep this podcast short. So, Chance the Rapper has, popularity. He's very well known. While NF is not. And this is what I mean, because here in Philadelphia, NF does get radio play. His hit songs, his singles do get airplay here in Philadelphia. But I've been told, or I've read, that NF doesn't get radio play on a lot of other rap radio stations, which is sad because the man is talented. Now, as far as the projects themselves go, I took the time last week to do my homework and listen to both albums. I listened to Chance the Rapper's album and I listened to NF's album. And I rated them. I rated each song besides skits and interludes. Overall, out of a scale of 1 to 5, I gave Chance the Rapper and his new album, The Big Day, a 3. While I gave NF's new album, The Search, a 4. However, I think when it comes to variety, if I had to pick one of these two to listen to, on a road trip or whatever, I would most definitely pick Chance the Rapper, and this is the reason. NF's album, while the man is insanely talented, while he could rap his butt off, for me, NF is just too one note. His beats are all one note, and it's dark, it's moody, and I understand that he's, no pun intended, he's searching for something, he's searching for hope. He even says it in his songs. But from Mansion, his first album, well, not his first album, I think it was like his first new album, like on his own or behind Capitol Music, something like that. From Mansion to, I believe it is Therapy Session. It's Mansion, Therapy Session, Perception, and now The Search. If you were to listen to these albums back to back to back, you'll notice that there's just like a note of darkness throughout his entire body of work. And I'm not saying that's a bad thing, because I'm an artist myself, and I appreciate, a dark beat, or, a song with maybe darker tones to it or darker themes, because, we've all been through the darkness. For you to have a body of work that consistently goes through that, it's hard for anybody to see that there's really growth. And I understand it's relatable to a lot of people. And I understand people saying that that's real music, which is also, I think, his brand, real music, which is ironic, because in his song, I forget which one, he says he labels it real music, but it makes him feel more faker than ever, or something like that. I don't know. Again, this is all just a personal opinion. Like, I'm not trying to get swarmed by NF fans. My sister's an NF fan. I certainly don't hate the guy or his music. I don't mind listening to his music. I've been to his concert once with my sister. He is coming back to Philly. As a matter of fact, both of them are coming to Philadelphia in the fall. And I think more than likely I'm going to see NF in concert again. Because, again, he's talented. I appreciate, his artistry. He's just too one note for me now, as opposed to Chance the Rapper's album, The Big Day. There were some songs that were really, really good, and I think my favorite one from his album had to be, and I'm sorry, I didn't say my favorite from NF. From the Search album from NF, my favorite songs have probably Why and Time, and which were his singles that came out, and I just think that they just have a good flow to them. They're radio friendly. Not that I'm a strictly radio friendly guy. I like underground stuff and all that, but those are my two favorites from NF. And my favorite from Chance the Rapper is, I believe, Always and Forever. I just love it. It has like a 90s vibe to it. One of those songs that you are driving at night and you just have all these lights surrounding you while you're driving through the city. It's just a great vibe that song has. And the song I hate the most, and I think it's his most popular one, is Hot Shower. I just cannot get into it. I know there's a lot of people who do, but that's all about, I guess, what's hot in hip hop right now. And Chance the Rapper, like I said, I like him. He seems like a very nice guy. And I think what just kind of and mind you, I gave NF the higher rated album. But as far as variety goes, Chance's new album takes it for me. I can do without all the swearing and curse words. I recently heard somebody say, well, cursing in music makes it more real. I don't believe that for a dang second, but that's just me. But out of those two, I think I prefer Chance's album better than NF. Obviously, the people think differently, as shown in the Billboard charts. I think it's interesting because NF is considered a Christian rapper still, when he doesn't want that stigma on him. But I do think that because people still associate that with him, it does, in a weird way, open doors for other Christian artists to be heard. I think because outside of NF, people know who Lecrae is. People may know who Andy Mineo is. And I think this just opens up such a broad door for Christian rap. And I think it's taking CHH or Christian hip hop to a place where it never thought it could be. And I think that's really, really good. But at the same time, it's going to be a strong comparison to the worldly or the secular or the mainstream, whatever word you want to use, that kind of music, and CHH. It's going to be a comparison. And unfortunately, if you look at past CHH, like past 10, 15 years ago, we didn't have the best beats. We didn't have, the best, melodies. And so it was hard because people didn't want to associate with us. People didn't want to be associated with the Christian rap scene because it was whack or it was corny. To quote that controversial statement Andy Mineo made so many years ago. But the truth is that, a lot of the beats were kind of trash and a lot of the melodies were kind of trash. It didn't matter if you had, God honoring lyrics, or lyrics that, pointed people to the Messiah. If your beats weren't catchy, people weren't listening, because that's the unfortunate thing with music today, is that people are so attached to a beat, or they're listening for a beat to listen to. Yeah, there is a minority that does listen to lyrics and care about lyrics, but the majority, at least as of now, cares about the beats. I'm hoping what Dayton said in CHH Ain't Dead is true, that lyricism is coming back, because we do need that. And that's not a cut. That's definitely not a shot at either Chance or NF, because they're both MCs. They're both good rappers. But I'm hoping that people are opening their ears more to lyricism, because now, I think now more than ever, we have some of the best rappers in the game, period. I think Christian rappers that, people were to, I think if people were to open their ears to a lot of the Christian rappers we have now, they can go toe to toe with some of the big boys today. And I'm talking about lyrically. Like I said, unfortunately, it's about beats now. It's about vibes. Vibes over lyrics, which I think is pathetic. Again, my opinion. I'm not against, vibes, whatever that means in the music industry. I just feel like it shouldn't replace lyrics or, a message. And but I do think the success of NF and Lecrae are certainly opening doors for Christian rappers, because you never used to see names like Lecrae or Andy or Tadashi or Bizzle or Toby Mac, who used to do CHH, now he's more pop, but you never used to see those names on the Billboard as frequently as we do now. Maybe some of the lesser known people like Reconcile, he's been on the Billboard charts before. Dayton's been on the Billboard. Jackie Hill Perry, all these rappers are doing excellent work, and I think finally, to some degree, they are getting some recognition. Maybe not all of it they deserve, but some of it. And obviously, yes, all the glory does go to God, but it's never a bad thing when you get recognized by your peers. Continuing on with music, something very interesting happened over the last few weeks. Christian rapper Flame. Some of you may or may not have heard of Flame. If you were into Christian rap, you most likely heard one of Flame's songs. Probably his most well-known song is the one that we're going to be talking about, and that is Joyful Noise. Joyful Noise came out a couple years ago. It was Flame featuring Lecrae and another gentleman, and I'm sorry, I forgot his name. And it was a very popular song when it came out. It was the vibe of that time for CHH. And fast forward a couple of years later, Katy Perry came out with Dark Horse. And for those of you who haven't been, keeping up with that kind of stuff, Flame filed a lawsuit against Katy Perry because he says that Katy Perry and her producers stole the initial beat from Joyful Noise and made it to Dark Horse. And I obviously cannot play the music here, but there's plenty of videos that are showing, the comparisons of Joyful Noise and Dark Horse, and it's really like the first few beats at the beginning of the song. Flame said that if you slow down the beat and change the pitch, it's exactly what Katy Perry's Dark Horse is using. And after 5 years of that case being up in the air, Flame won. Flame actually surprised everybody and won the case. He's getting over $2 million for the win. But Katy Perry and her people are going to fight that tooth and nail. Now, there's a little issue here. Now, while I'm happy for Flame for winning, if you looked at social media, there were a lot of people who were bashing Flame, who were, accusing him of being a snake, a thief, and all that. But on the other side, there were people who are congratulating him, saying the riches of heaven, the riches of the thieves are taken and given to the poor. They were quoting Bible verses like around that area, saying that whatever money wicked people made is going to, God's people, that kind of thing. Again, I'm happy that Flame won. I am. I think that, this is good for him. It's good for his brand and his record label. I think it's good for all that. But here's why I kind of have a problem with the lawsuit, and that problem is when you listen to that sample that he says was stolen, it's actually it blows my mind that he was able to actually make a claim for that, because at the end it is a very simple, for a few beats, it's a very simple da 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 da. I can't simulate. It's something like that. The fact that he was able to claim that, it made me wonder, like, well, what else can people claim? Because if people start claiming like the building blocks of music, a lot of people are in trouble. A lot of people. For example, if you go on YouTube, there's this group called, I believe, Axis of Awesome. And they did this thing where they played the same 4 chords on a guitar or piano, where initially people recognized it as Don't Stop Believing by Journey, but as they continue to play it and add different lyrics, they were able to actually add lyrics from other songs, and it fit perfectly. From Richard Marx to Richard Marx to the Last Goodnight to Michael Jackson to you'd be surprised. Like, I should have written a list, but there's a lot of songs you can get with those same 4 chords. And it started with Journey. Now, that's not to say that Journey owns those 4 chords. There's probably a lot of songs that precede Journey's Don't Stop Believing that use that music. But what if, now imagine the person who first used those first 4 chords decided to sue. Oh, could he sue or she sue? Possibly anybody and anybody. Because I did that very same experiment with my guitar. I took the same 4 chords and played them, and I got over 200 different songs from those 4 chords, ranging from rap and hip hop to country to pop to even Christian music. It's a building block. And who's to say that the person with those 4 chords can later sue? This is an issue. Because one of my songs from my first album has those 4 chords. And I'm nowhere near popular enough for people to hey, you, give me my money. Or me, vice versa, because it's a problem. Or it could be a problem. And that bothers me a lot. Because whether it's me, someone more well-known, if someone says, hey, those first 4 bars of music sound awfully similar to mine, I'ma sue you, and they win, that's a problem. That is a severe problem for music makers. And I think at the end of the day, we have to be careful. We do have to be careful. While I am not sure how Flame won that, I'm not surprised that Katy's people are fighting. Again, I'm happy for Flame, but it's concerning of what he claimed was his. What are you watching in the movies? I actually just, right before doing this podcast, I just came back from watching the Fast and Furious spin-off Hobbs and Shaw. And guys, a spoiler-free review, go watch it. If you like action mixed with comedy, watch this movie. It is so much fun to watch. There's really good pacing. Nothing's too slow or too fast. Everything is just, everything is just perfect. Maybe that's not the best word to use, or it's a radical word to use, but everything is just so good. The pacing is so good in that movie. The Rock obviously plays his role to a T. Jason Statham plays his role to a T. These people are just phenomenal in their roles. I didn't take my eyes off the screen. Kevin Hart makes a surprise appearance. I hope that's not a spoiler for you guys, but he just pops in and is just he's funny in his role. I absolutely loved the way they kind of added the Samoan culture, the Polynesian culture to the movie. That was one of the biggest reasons I wanted to see it, because I love the Polynesian culture, and they highlighted it so well in the movie. There was a lot of twists and turns. It's a movie that I highly recommend. It has a high rewatch value. Anything with The Rock is almost guaranteed gold. Go see it. I highly recommend Hobbs and Shaw. I won't give away the ending, but just the way at the end of the fight was just amazing. How they were, because when you watch the trailer, you see that the soldiers have guns, and The Rock and his family in Samoa have these handmade weapons. You're gonna wonder how in the world were they able to avoid those guns. It's really smart how they did it. Again, watch it. Like when it comes out on digital, Blu-ray, whatever, I plan on getting it. I love The Rock. I'm a fan of The Rock since his wrestling days. Watch Hobbs Shaw. I'm not getting paid, not at all, because I'm just a speck of sand in the beach of podcasts. But please watch that movie. It is amazing. And since I'm on the topic of movies, I'm gonna let y'all know that I am a huge Ghostbusters fan, and yes, I am excited that they are working on Ghostbusters 3. It takes place in the same universe as Ghostbusters 1 and 2 from 1984 and 89, and it comes out, I believe, June of 2020. Come with me and see it. I want a group of people to come with me to see Ghostbusters. I don't care if you don't even like Ghostbusters. Let's make it a group thing. Anyone who's listening, come with me. If you're not from Philadelphia and you're listening to this, buy a plane ticket and come over. I'm not gonna buy it for you. I just want people to come with me to just witness the awesomeness that is the Ghostbusters. Please. So family, I'm gonna wrap it up here. I'm gonna try to keep the podcast at half an hour or less, because I don't want to overwhelm you guys with too much of me talking or with too much information. I appreciate you guys listening, and I promise that as more episodes come, I hopefully won't be stuttering as much. I won't be saying words over and over again. It's been a long time since I did something like this. I think I mentioned it already. I did a program prior called Jammin' with Willie J, where I talked and also played music. I don't think I'm going to be allowed to do that here with this kind of podcast, just for copyright reasons. I need permissions to do that kind of thing, and that's a lot of work for something that's really considered a side project. But I just want to be able to do this kind of thing and talk with you guys and just share the things that I really enjoy with you, or things that are way heavy in my heart, through my perspective, again, as a Christian or as a believer, whatever term you want to use. But again, forgive me for my stuttering and that kind of thing. I'm just getting back into the groove of things. But I hope that you enjoyed today's podcast. I'm going to try to, again, bring more variety, talk about different things, and maybe even at some point bring people along with this podcast. But until then, I'm going to leave you guys with this thought. We are called the United States of America, right? And one of the things that we are absolutely lacking right now is unity. We are being driven apart, whether it's because of politics, beliefs, biases, whatever the case may be. At some point, we need to put all this stuff down and just link up and work together. Like I said, thoughts and prayers are amazing things. They really are, but we can do so much more if we act together, not act against one another. I'm so tired of going through my social media and people taking shots at different races, different beliefs, different, points of views. It's ridiculous. Low-key shots. It's dumb. It's kindergarten stuff. We cry for unity, but at the same time, the people who cry for unity are the people who are making fun or making comments against other people, who don't share their same beliefs or their opinions. If we're the United States of America, let's start acting like we're united. Because right now, as far as I'm concerned, we're severely broken. I pray that the God of justice does do what he has to do to bring justice throughout the nation, but I also pray that he can bring us together and unite, because that's what's desperately needed. Anyway, family, God bless you. I love y'all. Thank you again for listening to the podcast. I will see you next time. Hey family, thanks for listening to the podcast. If you want to keep up with me or my music, you can follow me on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. On Instagram and Facebook, it's Beware the Horseman. And on Twitter, it's BTH_215. I also do comedy because I like to make people laugh. So you can follow my comedy Instagram at That's Willy Funny. WILLY Funny. And if you have a suggestion for a topic, or if there's something you want me to talk about on the show, you can email me at CupOfCurious@gmail.com.